Now, a building that skinny on the base and that tall also needs something else to prevent it from swaying. So on top of that building is water. It's a mass dam water system. There are 160,000 gallons of water up there that move by computer to keep it from swaying. We are geniuses today, I think. I say we as if I'm an engineer or an architect, but that's what it is. It's my city, right? It's my city, my rules. All right, the Boeing building right next to us, built in 1990. Perkins and Will are the architects. Now, this building originally was the Morton Salt building. So if you look all the way to the top, you're going to see these circles up on top. That was supposed to represent the salt shaker, right? So you guys are finding all kinds of interesting things today. This south part of the building, this was the hard part for them to build, believe it or not, the smaller sections, because this is built over the railroad switching stations. A switching station does not allow any steel support columns underneath. So they had to figure out how to suspend that part of the building. So what they did, they built it leaning towards the tall tower for a little stability. And then the front of the building is held up by 5 metal trusses on top. So if you turn your heads around and look up on top, you see these 5 metal trusses holding up that building. Nothing underneath, so no steel support. Another genius move. All right, this side, 1929. This is an Art Deco building. Holabird and Root are the architects. I'm going to have you guys look at the clock. There's 2 of them, so it depends on where you are on the boat. Look at the number 4. That's not a Roman numeral, is it? Right? Back then, the clockmakers thought it was easier for people that worked in the city to be able to tell time by using the hash marks instead of the 1 and the V. Back then, people didn't own wristwatches. Wristwatches were considered a luxury. So that's kind of why you'll see that in several of our older buildings. All right, this side. We're coming into an area some people might refer to as Skid Row. Skidmore, Owens, and Merrill are the architects. They were students of Mies van der Rohe, that international style. So when we see an international style building, we say, Mies. Okay, there you go. Gotta keep everybody in. All right, so Gateway 1 and 2 are 2 identical buildings built in the 1960s, both international style. He actually did 4 gateways. Everything here built over the railroad tracks. Everything here built over the railroad tracks. Everybody on the west side of the river does not pay or does not lease the land. Everybody on the west side has to lease the air. They all lease the air from the railroad. They pay air rights to the railroad. Gateway 3 is the taller white building coming up on your right-hand side. Those were done in the 60s, Gateway 3 in the 70s. They were starting to kind of clad them and decorate them a little bit differently. Has any